What is up, CSP fam? This video podcast is dedicated to talking about principles and ideas that help you brand your business by using story-based marketing. Remember, your brand isn't what you say about your organization, it's what other people tell other people about your organization. And all this we try to do in just a little bit of time. So with some time elapsed already, let's dive right in. So how does caring for your customer help your organization and story branding? That's the question we're going to ask today's guest. I have with me today Marcy Baumann, owner of Vendella Coffee House in Eagan, Minnesota. Marcy is a former pastor and left vocational ministry to start something new. Vendella is so much more than just a coffee shop, and here to discuss with us why that is, Marcy has graciously accepted our invitation, so thanks for being here today, Marcy.
I'm really excited. I really am. It's fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Marcy, just kind of give us a little bit about your background and kind of how you became the owner of Vendella.
Yes. So many moons ago, I was raised in a small farming town in Kansas. Coffee shops didn't exist. We went to the truck stop to get a cup of coffee. But I joined an international ministry right out of the chute and did theater and ministry all over United States and Europe. So in turn, I got to be a guest in so many different homes, taken to my very first coffee shop in Roanoke, Virginia, and found myself enamored by this idea of getting to have hospitality and getting to have literally do conversation over a cup of coffee. Right. And that's the entire point. Yeah. And I got to experience this in all different kinds of environments and see what was done well, where I thought it was cold and sterile and where I felt it was so inviting. Mm-hmm. That always stuck with me. So whenever I didn't like my job, whatever it was, I'd be like, I'm just going to start a coffee shop. Like, that's going to be easy, right? And about 3 years ago, I felt very strongly that I had muscles that were atrophying. I wanted to just do life with people. Right. So I stepped down from ministry as I knew it and felt like, man, I don't know where God's going to take me. And just things started to come together. And I was posed with, do you want to do your dream? And it's been a journey. Yeah. It's been a journey.
Yeah, man, that's so great to hear. You know, I think just you know, stepping down from ministry and starting something new is you know, from my experience as well, is just like overwhelming. But at the same time, it's like, man, there's a huge need out there. There is. For not even just like, I don't want to say like Bible banging people, shoving beliefs down your throat, but just
almost the
loving,
opposite.
Loving people. Yeah.
Exactly.
Loving and caring for people.
Exactly. I'm a chaplain with the police department, and I loved that. Yeah. I mean, granted, I'm with people on their worst day, but I loved how that felt. Right. Where I have no agenda with them. I'm literally there just to hold their hands and help them walk through their worst days. Right. Right. And I was like, I want to do this with everybody. I don't want to sit somewhere and wait for them to come to me. I want to be out in the community where I kind of think of it as the modern day well. Everybody wants to get a cup of coffee. Sure. Why not get it there? Right? Yeah. Yeah. You know, it was interesting. You were talking to me about kind of just some of the people that come into your coffee shop. Yeah. And you had mentioned some of them, you know, had struggled with drug addictions or what have you. And it's not about like, hey, keeping them off of the drug for the next week. It's about what can you do for them for the next 15 minutes. And exactly. And so often people just want to be seen and heard. And how else gets the opportunity to literally be in an exchange, be like, no, really, how are you doing today? Right. You know, and that idea that we get to be that for so many people. Yeah. You know, it's huge. Yeah. It's huge. So, Marcy, I've known you for a few years now. Yeah. I mean, Kyle, when would we meet? I would guess 15 years, maybe. Is it really? Wow. You're probably right. Probably about 15 years. Yeah. And something that's different about Vendella is kind of really what we've been talking about, how you care for the customer. Yeah. So kind of tell us a little bit
and dive in, maybe unpack your philosophy
Right.
of that a little bit and why that matters.
Right. Oh my goodness. And I think so. Where we're located is the land of franchise. And it's the land where everybody, if all you want is coffee, there's a lot of options for you.
Sure.
And you know what it's going to look like and taste like, right? Because it's always going to be exactly the same.
Right.
And then here I am, this crazy thing. And the whole idea, we don't have a drive-through. And that
Sure.
was, people really questioned the intelligence of that. And I was like, why would I do a drive-through? Do I even get to talk to them if we're in a drive-through?
Right.
Hence the point,
Yeah.
right? When our subtitle is Vendella Euro Boutique and Coffee House, and it's a different kind of meeting space, a boutique and coffee house. And there's a reason that meeting space is the first thing, because we want conversation to happen. And whether we're invited in on it or you're inviting a girlfriend or a business partner to have a meeting there, we want to be where the music is low enough, the temperature is warm enough. We want everything to be conducive, the seating to be situated just so that it is easy for you to have a conversation. And what I have found is we're where a lot of hard conversations happen, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're just wanting to chat about the kids, you're probably going to hit one of the franchises.
Sure.
If you want to sit down and really be honest about what's going on in your life, we have conference rooms on purpose. One of the conference rooms extra has Kleenexes in it because that's kind of the room where the hardest conversations tend to happen.
Wow.
But as far as training staff and all of that, it's see them and hear them.
Wow.
See them and hear them and love them.
Yeah.
You know, whatever you can do to make it more.
Yeah. I was just there yesterday and the day before. I have all my meetings over at Vendella, and it's an atmosphere that is just relaxing and calming, and I think you're intentional about that.
Very.
I think you're intentional, and discuss with us a little bit about the boutique too, because that is an interesting part. That's how you love the community through having this boutique.
That's
Talk to
right.
us
So
about that.
I love art, art. And I have found that beautiful things can come in all different shapes, and functional art's the best. So if it's a pair of earrings that I get to wear, if it's clothing, if it's whatever. And one of the interesting parts is that we want to have as much local artistry as we can. So between candles being made, jewelry, clothing, even we had women in at one point that one of them was fighting cancer, and she made these scrubbies for washing your dishes. And I was like, they look so cool.
Yeah.
I will give you a purpose during your chemo.
Yeah.
And I will buy that from you in order to sell it. I mean, that kind of thing happens a lot. But we also want to be a place where you can find the perfect gift for somebody. And it seems to be, especially when somebody needs just a little extra love. Like that's our forte, is just a token of, I'm thinking about you. But we want to be able to help you bless somebody else, whether it be their birthday, baby shower, whatever.
And a lot of your boutique stuff too, like I know actually helps global missions as well. So like the mugs for Haiti. And
at one point, over half my baristas had been to Haiti.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's gone down a little bit now that we've had turnover, but it's still, a real, these aren't just things we throw out.
Right.
We really, it's intentional.
Yeah, you're intentional with the products that you sell.
Yes. We also, we hire adults with disabilities, and oh my goodness, biggest blessing to us.
Wow.
Like I often say, you always think you're helping somebody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get over yourself.
Yeah.
They're going to bless your socks off.
Right.
Honestly.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I think a lot of businesses do have empathy and do care for customers. But I think a lot of us just don't know necessarily how to care for customers.
Right.
Can you give us some insight on how businesses can better care for their customers and people who walk in their doors? Because I think a lot of times what we may think we're doing is caring for our customers is actually just kind of not so much caring for them, but just looking at how can we make our business better.
Right.
And so, like you said, you were very intentional about the conference rooms, just kind of
Yes.
how it looks and all that. But how else can
Yeah.
we care for people who walk in our doors, because what they say about our business and their
Yes.
experience is going to help us in the future?
That's exactly right. And the first thought that comes to me is authenticity. And I say this in my interviews: if you're not outgoing, don't pretend to be.
Right.
Shy can be lovely, but if you're outgoing, be honest. Don't drip. If you don't actually love their necklace, don't say you love their necklace.
Sure.
I need it to be genuine and authentic, and then just be uber transparent. So, I'm very vulnerable with my guests. I encourage my staff to be also. I mean, we have a rare opportunity in that sometimes we can sit down and follow up and ask questions, and then you get to divulge some of your information too. And I mean, most people have customers that you're sitting down with at some point. And I found the more human you are, the more you give them the opportunity to be human. And that is where my closest friends today, I did not know them before I opened the coffee house.
Wow.
And it came over me sitting down and doing this, hey, here's my humanity. Them saying, I'm going to reciprocate and be honest with you about my humanity. And we are just they're some of the deepest friendships that have just formed over an innocent, how you doing? And again, vulnerability speaks volumes. I find that if I'm trying on an outfit at a different place, if you say, it's just not doing it for you, I suddenly want to hear what you have to say, because that was an honest feedback, right? And so to that transparency and vulnerability, I think just, it carries a ton of weight.
So being transparent, but also yourself being vulnerable allows you to empathize better with the customer, because they're going to have a deeper connection with you.
When someone says, how are you doing today, Marcy? Right? They're yelling it over. I'm usually behind the bar when they're yelling it. And I, on purpose, stop and think about what's the real answer right now, and say it. You know, and I mean, if it's a really bad day, I'll be like, I'm doing right. I mean, whatever, right? And as small as that is, it is a sense of, it's okay to not be okay.
Right.
And this is a place where we're not going to pretend we're okay.
Right.
Right. And I'm not going to unload on you. Right. But I'm also going to be like, I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Whatever. You know, I mean, that vulnerability is real. And people are hungry for real. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I think it's also interesting, you know, the subline or is a different kind of meeting space, right? Yeah. And I think it's interesting that you purposely set up tables too.
Yes.
That are connected.
That's right.
Huge tables that are connected together.
I have right now 2 tables that seat 5, and I had originally said I'll never do that. I had thought I would only have these 2 huge tables that seat 15,
right,
thereabouts, because what I found was that if you have a table that has 4 chairs on it, one person will come and sit down, and the 3 chairs will be empty.
Right.
You put a table that sits 15, you're going to get 5 people on that thing.
Right.
And chances are they aren't going to know each other. And I see it happen all the time, where they're stretching because they've been working a long time, and then they look over and they're like, what are you up to? Right? And then we have connection.
Right.
Again, we have community happening, and I love it. Yeah. I love it. It's so great. And then we have a lot of 2s, right? We have a lot of chairs set up that are for, you know, sitting, looking at each other and having conversation.
I love that. Yeah. And I also love, by the way, I love the therapy dogs.
Yes.
What are their names again?
I have Munda and Daisy. We just added a baby, and he's throwing it off. Yeah, he's 14 weeks. His name is Grizzly Bernard. So he's amazing.
You just have the dogs running around. I love that.
Yes. Yeah.
So this is the last question, and it's important. But so how does caring for your customers affect what people say about your organization, and does that affect your business?
Oh my word. The biggest feedback I get is this place is so quaint, and that there's a feel about this place, and they can't put their finger on it, right? what you said, like, I feel comfortable, I feel welcome, right? And some of that's the hospitality, some of it's intentional furniture and stuff, but some of it is just this vibe of, come on in, take your coat off, right? Stay a while.
Yeah.
It's there. It's an unspoken. But I also hear you're gonna love the people. Right. I do a hashtag happiest baristas. My staff talk about that they don't feel like that's a job. And to me, that is a home run.
Yeah.
So if they're talking about how they feel loved there without saying it.
Right.
And right now we're becoming a landmark, and who could have, I have goosebumps. Yeah. This just seemed like
this last week dream. I couldn't find a seat. I had to sit outside.
I love hearing that.
I had 3 meetings there this week.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah. It's great.
It makes me so happy. And it doesn't make me happy because of money. It makes me happy because, exactly, if you are doing it right, it will grow.
Right.
And so in turn,
how does that saying go? Good things grow, bad things die.
That's right. It's so, and it's so true. Right. I mean, we opened 4 weeks before COVID shut us down. We should not have survived. So why is it that if you come in, you are ours? You will come back, because when you come in the building, you're going to know this place is different.
Right.
In every aspect.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah.
And it's simple.
Right.
Yeah.
And really, it is about what your customers are saying.
I
can't
100%.
I don't know how many people I've talked to. I have, friends who have been in ministry, who I see sometimes in there, and people I've met, outside, who live up in St. Paul, who drive down here to be at Vendella,
crazy.
And you talk to them and you're just like, we just love this place.
Yes.
We just love this place. It's a great place to meet. It's a great spot to connect with people.
Crazy.
And so,
I love it.
that right there is what story branding is all about. It's not what you say about your business. It's about what other people tell other people about your business. And that's all the time we have for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time.